In the quiet of a cozy bedroom, where the air was infused with the lavender scent from candles on the nightstand, Emma leaned closer to her best friend Sara. Emma's lips barely brushed Sara's ear, and in that moment the world around them froze. "You know I've always loved you in a way that's more than just friendship," she whispered, and Sara froze, her eyes widening in shock and sudden realization. This was the moment when their childhood friendship, woven from thousands of secrets and laughter, was about to turn upside down. But to understand how they reached this point, we need to go back to the beginning, back to when two little girls from a small town in California became inseparable. Emma and Sara grew up in a typical American suburb, where houses with white picket fences neighbored the endless beaches of the Pacific Ocean. They met in kindergarten when Emma, with her wild blonde curls and boundless energy, rescued Sara from bullies who teased her for her glasses and quiet nature. Sara, with her brown eyes and thoughtful gaze, was Emma's opposite. She preferred books and dreams of far-off lands, while Emma dragged her into adventures, climbing trees, biking along dusty trails, or building pillow forts in the living room. From then on, they were inseparable. They shared everything. First secrets about boys, tears after fights with parents, the joy of school victories. Emma was always the protector, while Sara was the one who soothed her friends' storms with a quiet word and a warm hug. Years flew by, and their friendship only grew stronger. When they moved to Los Angeles for their careers, Emma becoming a graphic designer at a creative agency, and Sara working as an editor at a publishing house, they rented an apartment together to stay close. Life in the big city was a whirlwind. Parties, dates, disappointments. Emma dated guys who seemed perfect at first glance, charming, successful, but something always felt off. She felt a void, as if her heart had a hole no one could fill. Sara also tried building relationships, but they crumbled one by one. One partner was too selfish, another too cold. The friends comforted each other late into the night, sitting in the kitchen with cups of tea, analyzing mistakes and promising that true love would find them someday. But beneath this surface lay a drama neither dared to acknowledge. Emma noticed her gaze lingering on Sara longer than usual, on her smile, the way she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, her laughter that echoed in her soul. Sara, in turn, felt stabs of jealousy when Emma talked about new suitors. "Why does this hurt so much?" she wondered, blaming it on concern for her friend. They were like sisters, but sometimes hugs lasted a little longer, and glances grew too deep. Once, after a particularly tough breakup for Emma, they held a girls' night at home. Wine, movies, and conversations until dawn. Sara hugged her friend, and in that moment, Emma felt her heart race. But she pushed the thought away, terrified of ruining what was dearest to her. The drama peaked when Alex, a charming colleague, entered Sara's life. He courted her with persistence and romance. Dinners with ocean views, flowers, compliments that made Sara blush. Emma smiled, supporting her friend, but inside she was torn apart. She couldn't sleep at night, imagining Sara kissing someone else. "It's just friend jealousy, right?" she convinced herself. But one evening when Sara returned from a date glowing, Emma couldn't hold back. They sat on the balcony, gazing at the city lights, and Sara began recounting a kiss with Alex. The words burned Emma like fire. "What if it were me?" she blurted out suddenly, and the air between them thickened. Sara froze, her face paling. "What do you mean?" she whispered. Trembling, Emma began to speak. About how their friendship had always been something more. About her fear of losing Sara. About feelings that had grown over the years, unnoticed, like the roots of a tree. Sara listened, tears streaming down her cheeks. She recalled moments. How as teenagers they slept in the same bed during sleepovers, holding hands. How Emma was always her rock in tough times. How her own relationships paled in comparison to the warmth her friend provided. "I feel it too. I feel it too," Sara confessed, her voice shaking. "But I was scared. Scared that if I said it, I'd ruin everything." They sat in silence, their hearts beating in unison. Then Emma leaned in slowly, her hand touching Sara's cheek. Their lips met in a tender, trembling kiss, not passionate, but brimming with pent-up emotions, fears, and hopes. It was a kiss that erased the boundaries between friendship and love, a kiss full of tears and relief. Sara responded, hugging Emma tighter, and in that moment, the world around them vanished. They pulled back, looking at each other with new eyes, and laughed through their tears, at the absurdity of how long they'd hidden the truth. From that night their lives changed. They began rediscovering each other, this time as lovers. Beach walks turned romantic, evenings at home became intimate conversations about the future. But the drama didn't fully fade. They had to face the reactions of friends and family. Some rejoiced, others were surprised, and a few even judged. Alex, learning the truth, left quietly wishing Sara happiness. Emma and Sara supported each other, their bond growing stronger through the trials. They traveled across the country, from the bustling streets of New York to the quiet mountains of Colorado, uncovering new layers of their love. Now at 32 and 34, they live together in a cozy house by the ocean, where every morning begins with coffee and a kiss. Their story isn't a fairy tale but a real-life journey, full of ups and downs, yet lit by the spark that only true feelings can ignite. Emma still protects Sara, and Sara still calms her storms. And in that very bedroom where it all began with a whisper, they know. Their love was destined since childhood, simply waiting for the moment to bloom.